Hi, today we're going to go over how to install the eyewear kit into an OTS Guardian or Guardian Stealth model. So one of the biggest misconceptions with this system is because it does have a little bit of flexibility. People think that they can just kind of wedge it into the mask, just coming behind here and getting in there. And it will install on these two little tabs inside the mask, but trying to wedge it in there, I promise you're going to break that frame every single time. So what we're going to do, we'll separate the lenses from the bracket. And you can see the lenses have already been installed, and your local optometrist can do that. Set that to the side for right now, and we're just going to work with this piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Guardian here and a 7/64 Allen key. And there are two screws right here and here on the visor frame, and all we're going to do is remove those two screws. So while I do that, and of course, if you're not comfortable doing something like this, please bring it to your local dive shop. Or if you're going to be ordering your mask and your lens kit, let us know, and our technicians here at Dive Right and Scuba will install that for you. So I've got those screws loosened up. I'm just going to see if I can separate the frame, which I can. I'll separate one at a time so that way we don't overstress the block on the lower frame. We're just going to set that top frame off to the side. Another thing to notice, which will be more important on install, is the index marks on every piece of the mask. That's so we can line everything up straight. What we're going to do is we're just going to peel the top of that skirt back just a little bit, take our bracket, and just kind of work each end of that into those tabs on the inside of the skirt. Does help to use a little bit of water or lubricant to get those to slide in there, but once they're in there, you will be able to move them around. But as you can see, not a lot of clearance. This is the reason that we do have to remove it from the visor. So as I'm putting this back together, I'm just working the skirt back over the visor, making sure that everything lines up right and there are no pinch points. And again, I'm looking at the index mark on the visor, the index mark on the skirt, and some of the older model OTS masks will have an index mark on the visor frame, but this new one does not. So but once everything is together, it should line up. What we're going to do is carefully replace that top visor frame, making sure that we don't get that skirt out of orientation. Again, a little water or lubricant will help this process as well, and it is generally a little easier if you completely remove those screws. I still have these installed. I'm actually going to back this one off a little bit more. And just work it a little on each side until it's completely seated. Take your time on this portion, because if you rush this and you wind up with a pinch point on the mask, not only will you have a leak, but you will damage the most expensive piece of this full face mask. So I'm just going to visually look around the edge of the visor frame to make sure that the skirt is showing through all the way around. That indicates to me that I haven't pinched any of the skirt, and now I'm just going to go ahead and tighten those screws back up. You want to kind of torque these evenly, so do a few threads on one side then the other. Of course, that's when you make contact, so Got a little ways to go. These T-handled Allen wrenches make the process so much easier. Can be done with a regular Allen wrench. It's just going to take a little bit longer. And that was a 7/64 size. So, getting to the point where the screw head is making contact with the visor, I'm just going to give it one turn, switch sides, one turn, back and forth until you start feeling some resistance. You don't want to torque this too far because you will strip out the plastic threads if you over torque it. Remember, it just needs to make a watertight seal. So now the visor, or the bracket for the lenses, is in the mask, and you can adjust this once it's in there. Work the height a little bit. I've found that the higher it is, the further forward it'll lean. You don't want to manipulate this too much to get it set, but once it's set, pretty much don't have to worry about it. And you could also adjust the little rubber block there, which the lenses will mount into. So that's all set up on the mask, and we're going to take our lenses, line them up in the holes, sometimes it takes a little effort, and again, a little water or lubricant will help this piece slide in a little better, but I recommend water for this one because we don't want anything to move. Kind of line it up to your field of vision, and that's what it should look like when you're all set up.